Namaste everyone. In today's video, we're going to focus on Muni Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 3.16. Now in this Yoga Sutra, Muni Patanjali is getting started with the explanation of the vibhutis or certain powers that yogis can attain through the practice of dharana, dhyan and samadhi. So let's take a good look at what this sutra is talking about and understand it even better, breaking up all the words and understanding it step by step. So the sutra itself goes Parinamatraya Samyamad Titanagat Jnanam. Alright, so that is the sutra itself. In this, we're just pronouncing it, breaking it up word by word, not chanting it. If you were to chant it, it would of course sound different, but this is just the words itself. So starting with the first word, we start with parinam, and parinam of course refers to the transformation or a particular change that's taking place in something. Then we come to the second word, which is traya, and traya refers to the triad. So it's talking about something or a combination of three things. Then coming to the next word, we have Samyam. Samyam, as we studied in the previous sutras, is the combination of dharana, dhyan and samadhi. So the combination of these three things together is known as Samyam. Then coming to the next word, we have Atit. Atit refers to the past and or the history or a past experience. And then coming to the next word, there is Anagat. Anagat refers to that which has not yet come, so that refers to the future. So something that has not yet arrived, which indicates the future. Then coming to the next word, there is Jnana or Jyan, which means knowledge. So these are all the words individually, and now what the sutra is trying to tell us is that by concentrating or creating samyam on the three parinams that we had studied in the previous sutras, a person can actually gain the knowledge of the past and the future of that particular object. Alright, so this is the basic meaning, but now let's dive deeper into the sutra to understand it a little bit better. So from this sutra, you must have already realized that this is talking about the vibhuti or the power through which one can actually understand the past or the future of a particular object. Now I know this sounds pretty incredible, and if we were actually able to do that, it would be so cool. But what the sutra is telling us is that there's a logic behind this entire science, and there's a way in which yogis or yoga sadhaks were able to do this. Now according to this line of reasoning, there's a particular method to this. So now we understood in the previous sutras two major concepts. One was the concept of Samyam, which is perhaps the most important throughout Patanjali's Yoga Sutra process. And this concept of Samyam is the combination of dharana, dhyan and samadhi, the deep intuitive meditational process through which we can become at one with an object or understand its real essence. That is Samyam. Now Samyam, this meditative process, is being applied to the Traya Parinama, which means the triad of the Parinamas that we had studied in Sutra 3.9 to almost 3.12. Now, what were those exact things? So here's the basic point that we need to understand. We are doing the meditative process on a combination of conceptual objects. And that's what makes it challenging, right? Because imagine meditating on an object, a physical object is hard enough. Now we're doing a meditation on a conceptual reality. That too, three realities. Okay, so these three realities in particular are the Nirodha Parinam, the Samadhi Parinam, and the Ekagrata Parinam. These are the three particular parinams that we discussed previously, or the results, that take place. And we are now trying to meditate on these particular results. So to jog your memory, what are some of the results? These parinams or these transformations refer to, first of all, the Nirodha Parinam, where what happens is the chitta or the mind enters a thoughtless space. So between one thought arising and the other, leaving, there's like a gap and there's a thoughtless space which we become very well aware of. And that forms the Nirodha Parinama, the transformation using Nirodha. Then we come to the Samadhi Parinam, where the thoughts are now completely focused on one subject instead of multiple subjects. And finally, Ekagrata Parinam, where there's so much focus on that particular subject that even the thought wave about that subject is one and the same. So as one thought arises and the second one continues, it's basically the same thought, identical to one another. Okay, so take a moment. I know these are really abstract, deep concepts. Let's start breaking them down. Let's understand them. So these are the three parinamas that we have understood. And we also know the process of Samyam. So now we consider these three parinamas as the object of our meditation, and we use Samyam, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi as the meditative process, and we begin to apply that meditation onto this conceptualization or these conceptual concepts of the three parinamas. And once we're able to do that, what Muni Patanjali is saying is we actually develop the knowledge of the past and the future of a particular object. Now, how does this happen, right? If we're focusing completely on an object so deeply, we've chosen that, we've gone so deep into the parinamas, we understood that everything is sequential, we understood that everything has its own specific timeline, we understood that we need to enter a thoughtless space to actually grasp the reality of that object. And through that understanding, now what begins to happen is we go even deeper and we start to almost visualize the entire timeline or the process of a particular object. And we see it almost like watching a movie. We see it on screen, what has been the past of that particular object, because we understand its sequencing. So we're able to look deep into the past and understand it. At the same time, in this meditative process, we're able to look deep into the future and understand that as well. Why? Because we've understood the sequentiality. We've understood the deepest tendency of this particular object and can accurately almost predict what is going to happen given the circumstances, given the way this object tends to behave. And then through that, almost go ahead on the timeline of that object and see the future. So this is how that particular power or vibhuti is gained by a yoga sadhak who manages to reach such an incredible feat of doing Samyam on the three parinamas. And then using that knowledge is able to extrapolate it into any chosen object that he or she wants to focus on. Alright, so I know this can sound very confusing. It might sound like, what? This is an unheard of event or activity. But I want you to really take a moment, watch this video again if you need to, take your notes, write it down. It took time for me as well to understand what the sutra is saying, but write it down and try to see what you gain and understand from it. So once we're able to understand the parinamas like this, we're able to see Samyam, we're able to understand the Atit and the Anagat, which is the past and the future. It's basically a power. Now, here's where the question comes in as to what is the yoga sadhak's individual preference. Does he or she want to use that power for a worldly advantage and then, use it for that reason, which becomes almost like a selfish motive? Second option is, of course, to use this power for universal benefit. If there's for some reason a need to find out the past or the future of a particular thing, which will help the entire world or the universe, like it's critical information for the welfare of other people, then that's option number 2. And the third and final option, which is the one that the yoga path recommends the most, is that even though you attain such a power, you don't get enticed by it and you actually move forward into the Kaivalya stage. So yes, you recognize that, okay, because I'm meditating so deeply and doing Samyam on these conceptual ideas, I am able to understand the sequentiality of the past and the sequentiality of the future. But I will not use this knowledge to my advantage or for any other reason except to keep going further and further on the practice of meditation and trying to reach Kaivalya. So these are the three options available to a person who discovers this power within them, is able to use it. So either they use it for selfish purposes, they use it only for universal welfare, or they don't use it at all and just, keep it at the back of their mind but keep moving forward. So of course, Muni Patanjali recommends option number 3 as much as possible. Keep it at the back of your mind and keep moving forward unless you need it for universal welfare in rare cases. And the first one, of course, personal benefit, is a big no-no. That would also lead you to fall down from the path of yoga if you try to use these powers for your own personal gain and worldly benefits. So that is the meaning of the Sutra 3.16. I know it sounds like it's from a sci-fi film, like are we in the Matrix, what is going on? But please remember that these are processes and practices that are highly spiritual, take a lot of time, years of mastery. And like I said, I myself have not done this. I'm just communicating what is within these sutras and trying to help you to understand them better. So I hope it's giving you a broad mindset, an overall picture, an idea of the sutra, and helped you to understand it a little bit better. Now, we look forward to seeing you in the next video or in our next class or workshop, the links for which are in the description. Until then, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for new videos, and also do share this video with your family and friends. And if you have any thoughts, comments, or suggestions, please feel free to pop it in the comments box below. We look forward now to seeing you in the next video. Until then, take care, keep practicing, and we'll see you very soon. Namaste.